Power of numbers is a lot of things can be broken down just into a certain number of numbers, which is a terrible expression. I'm not sure why I used it, but let's say it's like for me, I like cycling. And every year I do a couple grand fondos that are usually 100 miles, 4 or 5 mountains, 10,000 feet of climbing. It's a lot of work. I have learned over time that if I give myself 4 months and I put 2,500 miles in my legs, if I ride about 2,500 miles in that time, I will be able to do well on the Grand Fondo. So I know I can break it down into numbers and say, okay, I need about 2,500. I'll break that down into 30s, 40s, 20s, whatever. And when I hit that number, I'm good to go. And there are a lot of things, like if you're in sales, if it takes you 10 calls to make one sale, okay, if you need 5 sales a month, you need to make about 50. Can you work at improving your return rate? Absolutely. But at least at first, I just have to click this off. And so there are tons of things you do in life that can be based on, I just need to do this a certain number of times and it will get me some of the results that I need. So instead of kind of sitting back and saying, I've got to find the perfect sales pitch before I can ever go sell, say to yourself, all right, I'm making 5 cold calls a day. I'm going to click these things off and I'm going to learn from it. And I'm going to get better from it. And that's my process. And it will create some results. So if you can bring things down to numbers and just follow the numbers, it keeps you on the path because you're not constantly searching for something else.
So I'm channeling my 16-year-old at home. He is big into weightlifting now, and he's become obsessed with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Obsessed. Like he has Arnold posters all over his room. And I can't tell you how much he talks about, reps, your reps, which is what you just said. It's like, know the reps you need to ultimately get to your goal.
Arnold even used to say that he was excited to go to the gym because he knew that every repetition of every exercise got him closer to the body that he needed in order to be able to win a bodybuilding contest. So it's the same thing. It's like, if I know this works, I should be excited about doing it because it's going to get me the result that I need.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Arnold is actually one of the more fascinating figures in American life, if you think about it.
Totally. I mean, the guy's so many different lives he's had. They're all famous, world champion kind of lives. He's done it a couple of times. Fascinating guy. Any other just kind of final nuggets before we pivot over to motivating others? So this is some great steps to how we stay the path of keeping us focused.
The last one, you talked about aggregate gains, and that goes back to a British cycling team where they wanted to be able to win the Tour de France, and they got the manager of the team said, instead of trying to find this one area where we're going to be absolutely dominant, we're going to look at everything that goes into making a world-class cyclist and world-class team, and we're going to try to make marginal improvements to each one. And so it was the idea of the aggregate gains of, if I can improve this 5%, that 5%, this 5%, sooner or later, all those things add up. And so if you apply it to yourself, instead of saying, like your to-do list, people struggle with their to-do list all the time. Instead of trying to revamp the whole thing, just look at it and say, okay, what little thing on here doesn't work for me? How can I improve that one little thing? Yeah. And I'm just going to do that. Or if it's your morning routine or whatever else it may be, just find little tweaks to small slices of whatever that bigger task is, and just try to improve those little things. And over time, you will have made larger improvements. And the cool thing is, if you go in slices, every one of those you improve is success, feels good, makes you motivated, will make you want to improve another one, and it creates your virtuous cycle. As opposed to that really big goal that takes a long time to achieve, you don't get to feel success very often.